The Wire.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah, thank you.
That was pretty good, dude.
So I was going to get to this report later in the show because I didn't feel like this report was that big a deal early on from Woj, but Woj has been one-upped. So this morning, Woj reported on the Kevin Durant pursuit, which has been very quiet. What's going on? Woj was reporting that the Celtics could become could pursue Kevin Durant in the idea that they could offer Jaylen Brown in a possible trade for Durant. Shams bomb. He has chimed in, Leroy, with his own report. He says that the Celtics have offered Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant, and the deal was turned down by the Brooklyn Nets. Turned down.
When do you? Hey, question. When are you guys going to try to read the tea leaves and see exactly what Brooklyn's doing?
Well, they're lashing out.
No, they're not. Here's what
out.
they're doing. They're making it so hard to trade Kevin Durant that the season starts. And if they can get the season starting, knowing Kevin Durant just going to play basketball, if they start winning some games, then who's going to want to leave a winning team? Now, if it starts off poorly, then they'll accept one of these offers. But I promise you, they're trying to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie in a Nets uniform and see how it goes, with everybody being motivated to do well. Kyrie trying to get a contract, so he probably going to play in a lot of the games, right? Kevin Durant just loves basketball. He's not going to waste any opportunity to play. Why wouldn't you just we're trying to trade you, but we haven't found any good offers. Why wouldn't you just ride it out a little bit?
I think that's going to be the thing, though. Like, if Kevin Durant here is like, wait a minute, you guys could get Jaylen Brown for me and you're not going to trade me? Like, you guys have been wanting, like, because when I first saw the Woj report and I was like, oh, they could center it around a Jaylen Brown trade. I'd be like, oh, well, he could center a trade around Bam Adebayo. They just haven't. If the idea is they've offered Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant and they don't want to, and they still don't, then yeah, I guess I would lend credence to what you're saying, is that they don't want to trade him, because apparently, according to the report, is they not only wanted Jaylen Brown, but they also wanted Marcus Smart in the deal, draft picks, and potentially one more rotation player, according to Shams. Celtics are currently less inclined to deal Smart and ultimately other players, but the franchise is mulling over their next steps on how to approach it. Okay. As of right now, the Celtics have emerged as a serious possibility as a landing spot for Durant. They have tremendous interest in bringing him in and view him as the piece that could bring him over the final hurdle. Although there is work to be done, there is a deal to be had would suffice the there is a deal that had to be there is a deal to be had that would suffice the Nets' overwhelming ask. My bad, I can't read
straight.
I'm rusty. I'm rusty off daiquiris and vacation. My bad.
At this time?
Yeah, still. I drank them on the way here.
Oh, solid.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, it says no deal for Durant is imminent. As of August and September loom. The real desire of interested teams will become clear to the Nets. The Brooklyn's front office, led by Sean Marks, has set a high price for Durant. Wouldn't
the Nets be hesitant to do business with Boston after, they sold everything to get Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and whatever?
Different owner.
So it's different. Yeah, it's different pieces, different people in place. Danny Ainge isn't even there anymore. He's in Utah dealing with his own thing. But I think this is what I would say, though, from the Heat's perspective. Okay, let's say Jaylen Brown is on the table, and let's say they are going to trade Kevin Durant. And there are some things around Jaylen Brown that are interesting. Mainly his happiness in Boston. He's had a little bit of a Kyler Murray this offseason too, where he's made a little bit of a stink. He's not exactly happy with, I think, being second banana to Tatum. A lot of people thought he was better than Tatum in the playoffs. Tatum was. There was plenty of games he was stinking up the joint. I'll tell you what, I came through that series, I was more scared of Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum. Right. With the way he could get hot. But so there's a little bit of a difference in Jaylen Brown's future happiness with Boston, that they could be more willing to throw him in a deal than maybe the Heat would be with Bam Adebayo, who obviously loves it here and is, is Heat culture through and all that type of stuff. But coming back to this, if Jaylen Brown is on the table for Kevin Durant, he's the best known player that's on the table for Kevin Durant, and he's a better player than Tyler Hero.
Yes, no, of course. I agree with you there. I definitely agree that that's definitely the case. But if that's the offer, and that has been the offer, and they really wanted to trade Kevin Durant, it'd be over. Because if you look at what's out there and you weigh all of your options, that is the best player that you could get at this moment.
Yeah.
Now, the thing you have to worry about is if their season starts too, and they start off like gangbusters, you think they'd be more inclined or less inclined to then start trading pieces?
I
know it's Kevin Durant, but if you add a player during the season, you're gonna take a step back to accommodate. That's just the way it's always been.
I think if it's a one for like, I think that's the thing though. Like it hurts you. I think if you're dealing, Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, and if it's like a 3-for-1 of your rotation, yeah, I can see that being definitely a thing. No, I don't think it's gonna be like a James Harden thing where he's gonna come in, fat and out of shape and have to play his way into shape. Like I think Kevin Durant comes a little bit more ready-made, and he's shown that he's able to fit in with anybody, really. I mean, like over his career, that's the one thing you can say about him. Like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Steph Curry, like they're all great teams I give you, but he doesn't need to be like, it doesn't take a lot for him to fit in. Like he's been able to fit in with teams throughout his career. So I don't think that's that big an issue. I think the thing that's interesting about it is if they do get to a realization where Kevin Durant's like, yeah, listen, I don't know what you guys thought I was going to come here and this was going to work out. It's not going to work out. I still want out. When do they come to the realization of they're going to make the deal? Because I know what you're saying. I get your idea.
They're going to wait and see. Like it is to them. Like they're not in a situation where if you trade Kevin Durant, it's going to make you more ready to win a championship. They're going to take a step back. And if they're going to do that, why not exhaust every little trick you can to keep Kevin Durant and not have to live that misery sooner? Right? Like the inevitable could come where Kevin Durant says, hey, man, try harder to get me out of here. It could happen.
But if I'm Kevin Durant,
go in and say, yeah, we tried.
But if I'm Kevin Durant, if I learned that that's true, that somebody like Jaylen Brown was on the table for me, and I'm like, oh, you're not going to trade for, you said you wanted a young all-star. Like, no one's giving you like 2 all-stars for me. Like, come on. It's not going to happen. Doesn't happen. Like, honestly, like, that's why I'm saying, like, if that's true, that Boston is offering Jaylen Brown and Kevin Durant wants to go to Boston. Not that he has a ton of say, but typically these stars do have say in where they want to go.
Yeah.
Now, he did take meetings with Boston years ago in his original free agency. Don't forget about that. Like along with Miami, Boston was one of the teams that did have, I don't know if he's like one of these guys like LeBron who like, I'll never play for Boston.
In basketball, there's 3 or 4 places that if you have the opportunity, you got to go and kick the tires on, right? Boston, the Lakers, the Knicks.
I mean, like there are players that don't want to play for Boston. Like,
no, there is. Yeah, no, I got you. Like I understand that, but I'm saying that there's a handful of teams out there where even if you're not serious, you take that visit.
Yeah, I don't.
With Pat Riley,
and I don't know if Kevin Durant may be fine playing with Boston. He may want to play with Jason Tatum. I don't know.
Right.
But from the Heat standpoint, it becomes interesting because if that is the case and they're still serious about getting Kevin Durant, I don't know how do you compete with a Tyler Hero for Jaylen Brown? How do you compete with that deal? Like if it feels like now you have to offer Bam to be the center of your trade for the Heat, which we know they obviously don't want to do.
Right.
So I think that's the interesting thing that comes out of this is that this so far, if this is true, that Shams is reporting, I have no reason to not believe him. He's one of the best in the game. If that is true, that they have offered Jaylen Brown, then it becomes the best known player we've known that has been offered for Kevin Durant.
Right.
And the Heat's offer with Tyler Hero or centered around Tyler Hero is not better than that.
Right. Right. Like, I don't understand why, like, you have two players who are young. Why would they try to break that? Yeah.
That's the interesting thing is that with Jaylen Brown, if he is disgruntled, if he doesn't want to play with Jason Tatum anymore, then I would be more. Then that may speak to their willingness to put him in the deal,
right? Because I got to tell you, I mean, you're getting rid of your most reliable person in last year's playoffs.
I agree,
and you can say what you want, and that's probably what he's annoyed by is that wait a minute. We talking about Tatum all the time. I'm the one carrying this right now.
Yep.
I mean, give me my flowers. Something. But no, they still go to Jason Tatum. And so from that standpoint, I can understand how that could be frustrating, because it's not about money. He gonna still get a max contract. But to have to put in what you put in last year and all the conversation is about Jason Tatum without even acknowledging what he's done,
right,
or what he's been doing, I can understand how that gets frustrating.
Yeah, he's never going to be the face. He's never going to be the face of that franchise. It's always Tatum this, Tatum that. Like,
but as a fan, don't you see through that?
I don't know. I think so. I think Boston fans would feel that way. That when you're watching Jason Tatum not be able to finish at the rim during the playoffs, I would think you would say, oh man, I think maybe Jaylen Brown is that dude and not him.
Right.
But it is interesting. It's business. Maybe business may have picked up on this front, or maybe Leroy's right and nothing is going to get them to trade Durant.
Nope.
Back after this.
I can't believe that Boston is so willing to just give up Jaylen Brown like that after what just happened the past playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Like
it has to be. There has to be some drama there, right? Like people have been saying that there's like a little bit on the fringe of Jaylen Brown, but there has to be some drama that's going on there.
And Marcus Smart, I'm like, okay, he is Mr. Intangible. Like after every game, you have to say, oh, you can't just look at the numbers with him. That makes him an intangible, right? I don't know that like that would be a sticking point that, oh, we're giving Jaylen Brown, but we're not giving you Marcus Smart, right?
Look, I think here's what's like. I do think what you say is true. I think ultimately they would love it if they could just get Kevin Durant back and just hopefully it does like a Kobe Bryant situation where it plays itself out and he doesn't want to go. I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's not like Kobe Bryant back in the day because Kobe was in the day and age where it was kind of percolating, but it was not like it is now where things
but
are
his contract was up too.
Yeah, but
he made these demands based on his ability to be able to go somewhere else.
Yes, but this
is not that situation though.
But I think with them saying they want to get this historic return for Kevin Durant, like I'm gonna be honest with you, like normally you don't get anybody who you're like, wow, they really got like all these superstar trades. Like who are the best? I guess the best guys probably went for Anthony Davis because Brandon Ingram's turned into somebody really nice and Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
But but typically you don't. Like normally you're getting a haul of draft picks and that's about it.
That's what you can get. You're gonna get draft picks, maybe a couple of players, but you're never gonna get the immediate return because if the other team had a guy that was that good, they wouldn't be interested in the trade.
Yeah. So if you're Sean Marks and you got on the horn, you're like, well, we got Tyler Hero offered. Who else we got? Oh, Jaylen Brown. It's like I feel like I did a good job as a GM if that's what I'm really at. If you're still holding out and you're like, no, want Marcus Smart too. I don't know. Like, then I guess you really don't want to trade him because
the
only other guy
right? If they make that trade, then Kyrie's right behind him.
Getting traded where? Because he's not going to go to Boston.
I don't know. No, he's getting traded somewhere. I mean, you can't. Are you going to keep Kyrie with those other guys?
Well, I don't think him and Jaylen Brown are cool. At least they weren't on the team. Because, I don't think he's going to stick around in Boston. No, I think he's going to get traded.
Right.
Where? I don't know.
Well, Jaylen Brown. What I'm saying is that if you trade, if they accept the trade, because I think it's just a lot of, posturing right now, because that is the best haul you're going to get is Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, or Jaylen Brown and some picks. That's going to be about it. That's the best of the best. But now you got to get rid of Kyrie too, because you can't bring those two guys or that guy over with Kyrie still on your team. They already did that. It didn't work. So this doesn't just become a trade for Kevin Durant. You trade for Kevin Durant with Boston. Now you got to get rid of Kyrie.
It also could be a thing where it's like, is this out there because they want the Heat to up their game? Like, maybe that's another thing. Like, because it seems like the Suns, after the Ayton thing happened, I don't know what there's the likelihood of him going to Phoenix, not great. His other preferred destination is Miami. If they've been reluctant to put Bam in the deal, do you throw out a report that, hey, we've been offered Jaylen Brown? You get the Heat scrambling and be offer Bam.
You're more astute as far as those things are than I am, right? Like, I'm not into let's just put that story out there and see.
Oh, but it is, dude. Like, that's what they do.
It happens. No, I know it happens. I'm just not like, you're on that more than I am. You're like, oh, look, I see what you're doing. See, I'm always just taking it for face value a lot of times when, it could be a fake news, depending on who tells the story. You know what I mean? But
right.
I don't know. And people have been kicking the tires on this for a couple of years now, is that they talk about Tatum being great and Tatum this, but periodically during the course of the year, you go, they're not in the spot they're in without Jaylen Brown. And so, like, why would you be so reluctant to get rid of that guy? And I get it for Kevin Durant, but
it also seems like they've made good additions. There's like where the Heat fans freaking out because they lost PJ Tucker and really haven't made any other moves other than hoping everybody's going to improve Victor, Bam, and Tyler. Boston, they got Malcolm Brogdon. They got Danilo Gallinari. So they've added. I mean, like, they have added to what was already a really good team. So I don't know if there's, but obviously, like, if they think they can get in the game for Kevin Durant, then you try and do that. But it is interesting. I don't know, because I really like the idea to me that Boston would turn down the opportunity to get Brooklyn would turn down the opportunity to get Jaylen Brown. I don't know. I mean, like,
it sounds like crazy talk, because like you said, you never get a player of that quality in return.
Yeah, it's just exactly what. If you are going to trade Kevin Durant, you're like, well, we want multiple all-stars, young all-stars. Like, that's never going to happen. How many guys are going to give you multiple all-stars? But if you can actually get a 26-year-old former all-star, pretty good. That's about as good as you can get coming out of a situation like this.
But I question the validity of the story, because now you actually put Kyrie back in the situation that he couldn't wait to get out of, and that's with those players. And so it's not just a matter of trading Kevin Durant and what you get for Kevin Durant. Now you got to trade, Kyrie, and you're actually making it's not just trading, KD for Boston. They almost have to do a whole roster overhaul, because you got to get rid of Kyrie too. So it's a bigger issue than just whether you would accept Jaylen Brown or not.